on the road.
The
And,
yeah, the Metaphor Club's on Crenshaw, right across from Leimert Park, right across from Leimert Park. It's owned by a couple of alphas who opened it prior to COVID, several years prior to COVID. And it's still operating. They do events and they have like quiet workspaces and stuff like that for people to take meetings and do calls and whatnot.
duly noted. I need to have that as part of my livelihood, but I think everybody else needs to know about that too, because you never know when you're going to be caught mobile. And
right.
Do
you know Lawrence Ross?
Who?
Do you know Lawrence Ross? He's an alpha I think he's from Berkeley. Or Lawrence Gilliam. He's an alpha from Stanford.
Wow. Once we finish this call, I need to know these people, because I need to reach out to all of my brethren and make sure I make the connection. But I've got a couple of people on here that I know have to leave. And one of them, I'm going to start with some brief introductions so that we can actually have a little bit more context to who we are and how we're going to interview these people for the SIGGRAPH conference. So again, we're here all assembled to do some pre-work for the SIGGRAPH conference. This is the second of hopefully 3 meetings we're going to have in preparation for our Monday first live broadcast. Then we're going to have one Tuesday live broadcast. But we'll be at SIGGRAPH for the 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, recording, capturing, and basically just trying to get the scoop on all things SIGGRAPH, everything that we can do to apply some of the leading stories like AI. And all of those are things that we're going to be trying to do in post-production. It's like a little mini documentary. And, we were invited to be able to cover ACM SIGGRAPH as press and media. So some of the people that aren't on the call, Damone, I think, is the only one on the call, has press and media credentials. The other 6 have other things to do today, but they were on the call yesterday. And they understand the importance of representing ACM SIGGRAPH is press and media. But inside of that is an opportunity for us to do something that will help fulfill our obligations to ourselves, such as to do a podcast and a documentary to validate and document the fact that we did all the things that we're going to attempt to do. So as part of today's agenda, I wanted to introduce some of the people we plan on trying to capture story, their who, their what, their why, of their ability to share with us exciting things they're doing, not just inside of SIGGRAPH, but things are connected to, I think, the major theme of SIGGRAPH for us, which is AI, and more AI. So Val, if you can you share with us, basically just, take a little time to explain who you are and what you're doing in AI.
Sure. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Valerie. I'm the CTO of Storyfile. We are a AI video, a conversational video company based here in LA. We basically do interviews with real people, trying to create authentic conversations. So this could be interviews with civil rights leaders. We've done Holocaust survivors. And the idea is to sort of connect people with people they wouldn't usually be able to talk to. So we might go in and ask 100, 500,000 questions of someone, and then we can post it on a website. Someone can go to that website and have a conversation with the digital version of this person, where they can go up, ask a question like, tell me about the Tulsa race riots. And then it will, the person will find the best video, or AI will find the best video and play it back for them. So you feel like you're having a conversation asynchronously with this real person. We're also doing a lot of work in businesses, using this for onboarding, diversity training, etc. So on Tuesday, I'm going to be presenting at SIGGRAPH on a VR experience where we interviewed a Holocaust survivor, and now you can go into VR, have a conversation with them, and have animated reconstructions of her memories all around you.
Wow, thank you, Val. That's very telling. I actually met Val at a conference at Microsoft that LADC produced that was riveting in terms of its ability to help us understand AI's impact on just about everything, on health, education, story. And Val was generous enough to have a conversation with us about a project we're working on, which is the Tuskegee Airmen. And these are the Tuskegee Airmen who have been left out of the permanent record. These are the men who have been killed in action, over 89 of them, and no one's ever seen or heard of them since they were shut down. So we're going to try and figure out a way to reconstruct their lives. We have a few people who are still alive who were wingmen for them. And this is a story that will help to create a search and rescue mission to find any remains possible of these men in Europe. And so Val is going to be very helpful in us trying to figure out how to get the Department of Defense and all the other people who may have something to add. And Val, for as long as you can stay, the gentleman that I'm going to introduce next, he is the person who created this opportunity for us. He is the Diversity and Inclusion Director for ACM SIGGRAPH. And so, Tony, how you doing, Tony? He's in a car, I know, either on his way to LA or from somewhere else. So Tony, when you get a chance, if you can unmute, or I tell you what, until you get yourself together, I'm going to go to the next person for a brief introduction. Sasheen, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi there. My name is Sasheen Artis, and I'm a producer. I've been in the industry for a very, very long time. I've done documentary, TV show, and film. I have a documentary feature that's currently traveling the country and also airing on PBS. It's part of the PBS Passport, so you have to be a member because we rely on viewers like you. It's called Birthing Justice on Black maternal health and outcomes. Right now, there's a grave disparity between women who want to have children and birthing people who want to have children but are unable to, or they are able to and they die in the process, or they have complications. And there's a great disparity between those of that are Black and those who are white. 2 to 3 times more likely if you are Black to actually die in childbirth or to have complications immediately or right before childbirth. That can be very grave. I've, like I said, I've been in this industry for a while. I produced a series several years ago called Lost LA for the local PBS station called for KCET, and happened to win 2 Emmys off of that. And so that has been a really great experience, even though I won them during COVID. So I literally won them, sitting in some sweats, drinking a cup of tea on the side of my bed. But I got the statues, and it's been an amazing experience thus far. So I am interested in AI as a producer. I'm not afraid of it. I believe it's a tool that we could all use, but it definitely needs to be regulated, because you don't want bad actors to get a hold of that technology and run amok with our democracy, which we've seen in the past in a whole host of other societies and countries without AI. Basic radio was used during Rwanda. So there's a lot of issues that I think that are ethical in nature that surround this technology that we need to be mindful of. But I do see it as a potential very useful tool as a producer in all things, whether it's video, audio, and in writing. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Sasheen. So Tony had to drop off, but again, just a little context. He invited us to become something that they used to have as a kind of a young journalist team of student volunteers called Scoops. And we are trying to reconstruct that organization called Scoops by bringing young people who have one, journalistic capabilities, 2, have an interest in really understanding what ACM SIGGRAPH is. Does anybody not know what ACM stands for? Or does anybody know what ACM stands for? If you can, tell us what you know of ACM, the parent company for the SIGGRAPH conference. I'll have to wait for Tony until he gets back. ACM stands for the Association of Computing Machinery. So that means it's a huge society, a global society of all the people who are studying, creating white papers on all the tactics and techniques to use supercomputing, which also includes AI, in rendering, developing, and creating new pathways, not just for film, creative, but everything, health, law, just about every part of humanity. And I'm going to put in the chat box one of the exciting things I learned about ACM and SIGGRAPH was something called the Academy of Software Foundation. I'm going to put this in the chat box, but they are an organization who's decided that they want to have a diversity and inclusion opportunity to bring more people, gender, race, sexual orientation into the whole open source world of Academy Software Foundation. They've had summer boot camps. They've had, you know, all kinds of webinars. And I've had a double of the time trying to get people that I know to join and participate. These are the people who were working during the pandemic when everything was shut down globally. These people were working. During the strike, they're working. They'll be working when everybody else is potentially replaced, because they will be creating new ways for them to replace a lot of the human factor that gets, you know, again, disqualified from participating because of events that will, I call them, it's a military term for it, overcome by events, OBE, overcome by events. That means that there's no explanation, there's force majeure, there's something that will take over and we won't be prepared for it. AI will be prepared for a lot of those things, for OBE, overcome by events, for human beings. And I learned a lot about that in dealing with military folks. So I want you guys to really keep an eye on where can AI really have impact, not only in the creative process, but just in your own individual lives. So without further ado, I'm going to take the rest of the time to have some other introductions. At the top, there's a young man, Sashim. His name is Shoni Monet-Doe. He's been with me the longest. He's an apprentice, intern, and as a person, now as a young man who's gone out on his own to create his own end-to-end broadcast, film, TV studio using AI in Lancaster, California. So Shoni, I don't know if you heard Shasheen or Val talk, but if you can, he's going to be one of my featured speakers as a young person, talking about how AI has allowed him to pivot and, you know, be able to still compete in a way where I think a lot of people need to know how they can deploy some of his methodology of understanding how to plug in or stay where you are. It's your choice. So Shoni, can you bless us a little bit about your topic and the thing you want to be able to bring to us on Monday or Tuesday? We have to figure out the right show as to where you will be. But I'd love to have you. Go ahead, Shoni.
There we are. Hello, beautiful people. All right, wow. So, first of all, that was amazing. It's amazing to hear just the different types of people on this call and what you guys do. I think it's cool that we're able to now preserve people in a digital format and as a digital copy of themselves, which is very much what I am trying to develop out here in Lancaster and in my own way. So I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. Maybe even come over and see how you guys do it. It sounds like a phenomenal process and a tedious one. 500 questions.
But Tony, let me say something. Val had to drop off the call. She's the person she's the person who's not on the call, but she's the person who's invited us to her laboratory and studio. And so after this is over, we'll get a chance to go to Storyfile and see how they do what they do. But at some point, I'd like to have everybody ask prior to her presentation on Tuesday, what are the tools that she's using? How does she use those tools? And more importantly, how did she arrive at this place where she's been a master of these tools? And just a little backstory, she was an operative at the USC Institute of Creative Technology, USC ICT, which is a military research center, who uses declassified technology to use those technologies in society to help people get better using these declassified technologies. And they, the laboratory won an Academy Award for doing deep fakes and digital doubles. So she comes from that experience and that background, and taking that from USC ICT now over to StoryFile. So that's going to be a big opportunity for us to go to the lab, see the tools, and figure out, you know, what we can do to learn how those tools can help create a pilot for something we want to do. I'm already working on that pilot, so that's where she comes from. So she, on the other hand, is a producer of story, and I definitely want to be able to see any growth or any learning curve, and what Shasheen is interested in is something we can follow and track and see what we can do to, you know,
Well,
really have some
I
ideas.
just found it, Kevin, if I may, I just found it very fascinating that Shasheen created the documentary that's currently running on PBS about birthing mothers, and the rates in which, well, the staggering rates in which they're dying or have they failed birth or miscarriages. I recently just helped with doing a documentary out here in Lancaster with a nonprofit who's doing a documentary locally in the AV about the same subject. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'd love to see how your guys' one on PBS came out, as well as one of they're in post editing right now. So I don't know how that's going to come out, but I think it'd be cool to see how it came out together. See if you guys can collaborate in future endeavors. But yeah, shoot, introduction. So I'm Shoni Doe, and as Kevin said, I was working with him for a really long time. It's coming close now to about 7 years now. It's coming close to 7 years here.
Come up on 8.
And yeah, it's coming up on 8. Jesus. So yeah. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll click on that link. So what I do now currently, after working with Kevin and getting all that experience coming out here, I worked with a friend who was down in LA. We developed our own nonprofit. And so what I'm doing and hoping I can bring to this conversation is hopefully an awareness and shedding a pathway of light on how individuals can take power through AI to empower and hone in their craft as an artisan, and in any field. Because I truly believe, in the same way as, you know, you can replace yourself as an artist, by that same token, if you take that same AI and all you feed it is your art, you're creating a digital double of yourself in that AI. And now you have that AI who is literally your digital artistic self doing your style of artwork only. And currently it's kind of like a lottery. So artists are still needed. They're still needed for drawing perspective, for drawing exactly what we want it to look like at this point in time. So artists aren't completely being replaced. Concept artists, maybe, but not full-blown artists. They still have their stake. And I do believe that it needs to be regulated. But what I'm doing out here is empowering people with open source software, such as, you know, OpenAI, Stable Diffusion, and what have you, and how to work with this AI to basically copy and build out a digital version of themselves, and to keep that as themselves. And then I'm trying to figure some things out with blockchain technology to preserve the ownership of that by NFTing it to some degree. That way your art is your art. I do believe it needs to be regularized and by the government or by some type of something, because otherwise anybody could just take your art, take your story, take your style, and recreate it using AI. So I do echo that, but I also do believe that it is a phenomenal tool once you get past the fear mongering that's happening around us.
Hey guys, forgive me, I've been moved by 2 or 3 different librarians, so my apologies. But I think I found a place, a safe place for me to be for a few minutes. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. So I didn't hear anything that Shoni said because I was trying to navigate around the librarians. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
All right. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So the purpose from this point forward is we're going to try to create a run of show for both days, for Monday and for Tuesday. I don't have it that I wanted to share with you. Somebody, 2 people were supposed to submit that. So from this point forward, I'm going to take control of making sure we have runs of show for both Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to also ask everybody to take a look at this deck. This is what my plan deck is for everybody to follow. This is my updated deck. I've asked everybody to submit a bio. And I'm planning on putting this into a JavaScript program that will have a link for everybody who's watching the show, have a bio on all the people who are speaking. So we've got Tony here, who gave me the document that I needed in Word. We've got Alex, we've got Keila, we've got Damone, we got Shane, and a PDF. I can't do anything with this. JP, I got a placeholder for you, for Mariah, for Rena, for Garen, and 2 other people who are going to be talking with us. Philip, who is with the he's with the Art Directors Guild, and Tracy with the Costume Designers Guild. Sasheen, we need your bio. Jay Tucker from UCLA, Ted Milner, Jeff Burke, and then another speaker, Maya Beasley. So as part of my pre-work, I'm hoping that I'm able to get everybody's bio in Word so I can manipulate it and put it into something that will allow us to have a repository of all the information and something we can share with the audience and anybody else that wants to know who's going to be part of the production. So if we can, please work hard to get me a Word document as soon as possible so I can continue to update the deck. This is also, I will blow this up so we can see it. This is kind of my plan to give everybody a chance to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. So if you can, please look at the deck and see if there's parts of the deck that you resonate with and some things that you want to bring with you as we're trying to interview all the people that, and here's perfect, all the people that Tony's going to be bringing for us to the interview as a journalistic team. So that deck will allow us to have some understanding of what things that Tony expects and the things that we expect of each other. So I've got Tony on, and Tony, can you share with us just a little bit of context for who you are and ACM SuperApp and some of the things that might be expectations for our journalistic crew, our young people, to help us make sure we get the best and brightest conversations with the people that are being simple.
Committee chair. Can you hear me okay? Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you, Tony.
Area, I've been treasurer, I've been for different positions at CPREP for a while. And this time I'm the diversity, equity, and inclusion chair for the organization. As such, Kevin and I have connected when he basically
Tony, just a suggestion, you may have to cut your video because your bandwidth.
collaborate on. Yeah, say again, Kevin?
Yeah, why don't you cut your video because we would love to hear from you more than see you at this point. But
Okay, all
cut
right,
your video.
all right.
Maybe give us a better audio. There you go.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Got you now. Got you now.
Okay, all right, perfect. So what I would say is that we thought we could leverage the opportunity in capturing some content. That purpose, I would say a shot sheet of things that you can capture, particularly my committee. So I don't know when you're planning to start, Kevin, but are you ready to sort of jot this down?
Well, no, I would say if you can tell us, and I would have some people on here, if you guys can help me take notes, but I'm going to record this, so I will be able, I'm recording it so I can actually go back and have notes that I can transcribe for everybody. But yeah, so go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, so at 9:30 a.m. in room 501 AB, there is CGRAPH for beginners. All right, and that's in the convention center. And at 11 a.m. at JW Marriott Diamond Salon, getting involved with CGRAPH. Then on also at 3:45 to 5:15, it is a session going on called Fast Backwards Breaking, and that I don't know the location of that one, but it'd probably be on the conference. And then we have a diversity-oriented speaker from 4 to 5, breaking boxes in 501 AB. So you'll hit that 501 AB quite a bit.
Okay.
Then living on Monday, 11 a.m. to 12, is a Birds of a Feather called Women in CG. Also in 501 AB. 2 to 3 p.m. in 501 AB, celebration of Latin American presence. And then following that 4 to 5, one of our committee members is giving a talk, also in 501 AB. From 5 to 5:30, I don't know if you'll have permission to do this. Pixar Elemental is doing something like that. From 9 to 1 a.m., there's a chapters party as well, about all the different chapters and stuff like that. Then on August 8th, I would say you can hit the Village. This is Tuesday. And then this is where we'll meet the actual students that, the 5 students that have been awarded travel grants, and you'll be able to follow them around and then get some B-roll of them as well. So just for people's purposes, I've also used to work in film and television for a long time. Okay. So that'll be also part of some of it. And then on Wednesday, there is a student volunteer lunch, 11 and 12. Then there's a talk on fostering inclusion from 1 to 2:30, where I have to find the room for that. And then, so those are the events. And then I would also say just capturing B-roll in general of the actual conference, maybe talking to people with the question in mind, does CGRAPH make you feel like you belong or feel a part of the community, something along those lines. And having a lot of different people respond to that would be great. So is that helpful, Kevin?
Extremely. So I recorded that. You broke up a little bit. So what I didn't get recorded for us to be able to transcribe for the rest of our team, we have to have a little bit of email exchange with you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I have 5 cameras, and I will have at least 4 reporters at any one time that will be able to actually not only record, but actually ask questions so we can get exchange. So we'll have people all throughout the conference. We have 7 press and media credentialed people, and the rest of the folks are going to try to register as one-day guests or exhibit guests. But I plan on being everywhere and anywhere we can be to get the stories that we want, as well as the stories that we believe are the ones that are compelling to our future research on how, you know, the creative tech experience can help us with our career pathway. So,
Okay.
So that's
right.
what we need. And so, Tony, thank you again. And I think I'm going to conclude this meeting because the library wants me out of here. But
Okay.
so thank you, guys. So I'll be in contact with everybody. But everybody, again, send me your Word bios if you haven't done so already. And look for me sending the run of show for Monday and Tuesdays conversations for Brownback TV. And thank you again for joining us today.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.